Hello, and welcome to Here's the Thing with Robbie and Jose, where we explore relationships through a male and female perspective. With me, as always, is the lovely Robbie.
Hello, Jose.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see you. I like your shirt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Little
Yeah, I
kitty
like
cats.
it. Yeah, it's got cats, and I think it's got like a variety of different cats. It's got like cheetahs, and it's got like other things.
What other varieties?
I thought there was like more. Is it just cheetahs on
It
here?
looks like just cheetahs to me.
Okay, well, it's got cheetahs on it.
I like it.
You know, I'm a Thundercats fan too, and there was.
Yeah, I did not
cheetah.
know what that was until you explained it to me.
You don't know what Thundercats were?
No, you explained. We had this conversation.
We
You
did?
said something about Thundercats, and I said, "What's that?" And you were like, "Oh my god!" And you went through this whole thing
I
that
don't
you
sound
do.
like that, but okay.
And then you showed me because you got like a Thundercats shirt or something.
I do have a Thundercats shirt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to wear it one of these days so everybody can see my Thundercats shirt.
Yeah.
It's a great show. I can't believe it. But speaking of that, I started watching old shows like from the 90s. And I started watching a lawyer show. And I don't think we have too many lawyer shows anymore.
What was the lawyer show?
It was called Boston Legal.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I
do you remember Boston
Yeah.
Legal? It was
Who's
good.
the main people in there? Is
James Spader, William Shatner. I can't remember the lady's
It's
name.
not the Clarissa Flockhart. Is that
No,
show?
no.
What show was that? Wasn't that a law show?
There was a law show. I can't remember.
Oh,
what
Ally
the-
McBeal.
That's right, Ally
Right.
McBeal. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So back in the 90s, there was a lot of lawyer shows. They were
medical
good.
shows.
Yeah, and medical shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, medical shows they still have those.
Yeah, but
I don't know
remember
why
when
there's so
ER
much
came out.
drama that goes on in.
Because it's already like an intense situation. You're in the ER, like something is wrong.
True,
so it's like a
true.
high stress job. You're constantly running around, you're saving lives, and then you have marital problems and you date everybody that works at the hospital. So everybody's dated everybody.
So bam, there it is. And it's, yeah, I always when I look at those, I wonder just how much of it is nonsense when they're like, give him 20 cc's of, like somebody's coming in with like a cardiac arrest or something. They're like, get him on the gurney. And what's going on? And what's this level? And give him 20 cc's.
I think they have to
of-
consult with like medical professionals so they know the lingo.
Even still, I'm wondering how much of it is BS and how much of it is like, is that really what they should prescribe or do?
I don't see why they would dramatize the type of prescription they would get. Like,
I don't know. I'm just saying, are they making this stuff up? Is those things really exist? Whatever it is that
I think
medication
they
is.
have to do that to make it seem authentic. Because I remember I used to watch that show, Third Rock from the Sun.
With
John Lithgow.
with your crush.
Oh yes, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's so cute. I can't believe you remembered that.
I do, because it's such a weird crush. He's a good-looking guy. Don't get me wrong. He's
Yeah.
an extremely good-looking guy. But I just
Well,
when you told me, I was like, oh,
There's some movies that I don't like the way he looks. But some movies like, well, here's the other thing too. Okay, well, I can't use this one as an excuse because like he had like, I think some kind of prosthetic makeup, but in Looper,
yeah.
but it,
He was trying to look like Bruce Willis.
yeah, but he looked really good in that movie. But then he had some kind of alternative. So it was like, well, okay, then something to think about. Anyways, I forgot what point. Oh, so, okay.
I
So
threw you off thinking about, do you need to fan yourself a little bit?
it's hot.
Thinking about,
John Lithgow's character was like a scientist guy or whatever. And he did like an interview and he was saying that he had to like, be taught the lingo by like real scientists and physicists. Like, here's what you say. So
you can
he'd
blend
go
in.
on the board and like he'd do all these equations. He had to like memorize. So why would they do it different for the doctor shows? I
don't know.
Anyways, the lawyer show.
lawyer shows. I like lawyer shows.
Yeah.
It's great. It's fantastic. I object. I object, Your Honor.
I love lawyer movies in general, like that whole drama of the courtroom and then the big reveal and then the attorney that's just trying to do right by society and then the bad guy who's like a corrupt whatever the hell and like, yeah.
And I remember because there were so many lawyer shows, everybody wanted to be a lawyer. And there was like an explosion of lawyers.
Yeah, because they were driving around like Maseratis
But
and stuff.
the thing about it is it's unrealistic in the sense, obviously it's TV show, so it's unrealistic, but I don't think people appreciate just how much research goes into each case. Because you have to get like case studies and it's like mundane. And a lot of the, let's say what are they called? What are they called? Not the attorneys, but the
judge?
No, the people that help
District
them.
attorney?
The people that help them. You know what I'm talking? Paralegals.
Oh, okay.
Paralegals, they do most of the work.
Yeah.
The lawyer just shows up.
I was thinking about in the courtroom when there's two lawyers, kind of like there's one and then there's one, and I don't know the term. Paralegals is the one that does all the research, the back end stuff.
Yes, they do.
Paralegals won't go to the courtroom typically.
Typically not, no.
So who's the other attorney? Is that like the assistant attorney?
Kind of like a co-counsel, I think is what they call it. Like I'm using. Oh, you're talking about co-counsel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like those. But yeah, I like movies like Rainmaker. Remember Rainmaker? Because I forgot what the name of that guy is. He does a lot of lawyer books. Not Grisham? Is it Grisham?
John Grisham?
Yeah, he's the one that does a lot of lawyer books, right? They turn them into movies.
Yeah.
Rainmaker was one of them. I'm trying to think of the other ones that he did. Did he do like To Kill a Mockingbird? I mean, not To Kill a Mockingbird.
Matthew McConaughey. I know it.
Time to Kill.
Yes.
Time to Kill, yeah. So I like those.
Yeah.
And he used to be an attorney, but this one was done by David E. Kelly. And he used to do a lot of lawyer shows. So, but anyways.
Do you have a lawyer show that's now that you like?
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lawyer show. Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix, they changed it up.
Oh, it's like a series now?
Yeah, they changed it up though.
Oh.
They changed it up.
He's like a bad guy?
No. He's Hispanic.
Oh, okay.
With an accent and everything. And he's a lawyer.
What about my boyfriend that's in prison in that movie? Is he not on there?
No, Michael Pena? No, he's not in there. Actually, I don't think he's
Michael
even...
Pena.
Yeah, easy there. Tigers, easy there.
They couldn't look any different from each other.
No, but for some reason they do it for you. They float your boat. So good for you. Good for you. So today's topic is going to be around vacations.
We're traveling today.
Yes, we're traveling. Yes, we're traveling with a significant other. So I guess it depends on whether or not, really I'm going to be touching base mostly on the first time that you go on vacation with somebody. Mm-hmm. There's so much planning that needs to be put in place.
Yeah.
You need to get their schedule, make sure they have vacation time. How long is the vacation going to be? Is it going to be an extended weekend? Are we taking the entire week? Like these are things that you need to consider because it's a big step. Because no matter what, you can't leave them. You're going to be there together. So there is no turning back. This is going to be a shared experience.
Do you think it would be better the first time you go out of town with someone, maybe you just do an overnight somewhere? Like just to test it? Do people let's say you're dating for 2 months and you're like, let's go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. Do people do that?
I don't know, but that sounds fantastic.
Well, I'm just saying if you,
I love Hawaii,
I'm just saying maybe you test the waters by hey, let's stay overnight somewhere. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you could do that, like just a day trip, if you will.
Yeah.
And then turn around and come back. Yeah. I mean, you could do that, but you're not going to really learn much in that trip. You know what I mean? It's going to be all fun and games. You good. It's going to be
lot of fun and games.
And don't get me wrong, vacation should be that. But let's say I'm talking more of okay, we're going to go on a vacation and it's going to be for a few days. At minimum, a 2-night stay.
Yeah.
But in most cases, it might be more than that. So first things first, you have to think about the location. Now, this is going to be depending on your partner and depending on what your preference is. Because me personally, I like going to beaches. I like going to sunny places. But that's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people don't like to be out in the sun.
Yeah.
Some people prefer to go to a city where you can walk and see museums and stuff like that. So you have to decide where are we going to go.
Or skiing or something.
Or like skiing, yeah, which I've always wanted to do and never done, but I've heard is super duper fun.
I've never
Have
done
you ever
it.
been skiing?
No, my balance isn't great because I remember trying to skate when I was younger and it was not great. Not great at skate.
So you're afraid you're going to tumble down?
I don't know. I don't want to be in this, you hear these people hurt themselves. I don't know.
So you've never been skiing?
No.
You got to go skiing.
Well, I also don't like cold vacation places. That's not my ideal.
Yeah, but then you get to be in the cabin and be warm and you're drinking.
I'm never warm over there.
In a cabin with the blanket. And
I went to Colorado. It was freezing. I was inside of a cabin. Actually, the Airbnb I stayed at, they said, well, you can't put the heater over a certain limit. And it was still too cold for me. It was 76 or something. You know me, I'm cold natured. Yeah. That's not going to make me warm. I need more.
Okay, so maybe you don't have a cheapskate of a boyfriend. I'm just kidding.
No, the people that put the Airbnb in place.
I'm kidding. No, but I'm just saying, let's just say take that aside, right? Okay. But no, it's a good point. You're right, because That's exactly my point, right? If you're having this conversation and you're dating a dude and he's like, let's go skiing, you're going to be like, I don't have the best of luck. That's really not my thing because I'm cold natured and this. So then he's going to be like, damn.
You're willing to
Why
try
am I
it, but
going
still.
out with this girl? No, I'm just kidding.
Cold-natured woman? I've never heard of such a thing.
I would imagine she'd be right at home with her icy veins that she has bumping.
Her skin is like translucent. You could
She's
see
like
her.
a White Walker,
Yeah.
which you don't know the reference, but that's a Game of Thrones reference.
So what does it mean? What's the translation?
So the North, that's where it's all cold and snowy and everything. And so these, I don't know, I guess they're like zombie people.
Okay.
And they're possessed and they have icy blue eyes, but they all spawn from up there. And every time they come down and like get people, they bring the winter with them. So they call them White Walkers because I guess they're
It's like
white.
snow?
Yeah. Basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's a good show. One of these days you should watch it. Like
No,
the rest of the world has done it. So
Good.
it's good. But anyway, so then you have to decide where you're going to go. So for you, we know they have to stay away from the cold. So that's not an option. But, again, you can go to a city, you can go to a beach, you can go to the East Coast, you can go to the West Coast, you can go travel to Europe. That's another thing. That takes much more planning, obviously, because
You get a passport.
you got to get a passport. You got to, if it's a visa is required.
What if you found out they had some kind of like reason why they couldn't go outside of the country and then you learned it? Like,
'Cause their
well, I
net's gone.
can't, I can't go to that country anymore. I've been banned. Just like, come again?
That would be because what would, the purpose of this is, when you go on vacation, it's not the purpose, but one thing that does happen is you're going to learn a lot more about that person. You're going to learn a lot more about that person. How they plan, do they bring everything? Because let's say you go and your partner is just like, yeah, I just brought a toothbrush and that's it. It's like, well, what about your hygiene products? Oh, you know what I mean? Like if they don't prepare for that, because you have to prepare because whatever you take, you have to take with you.
Or how they pack. Because I was with a guy one time that I saw the inside of his suitcase and I was horrified because they literally just threw everything in there, which...
How do you pack? I'm just kidding. What are you talking about? No, but it was just literally like
literally just
all...
thrown in there.
Huh.
And I'm not talking about on the way back when things are like dirty clothes, when it was like on the way up there. And I was like, why do you pack like that?
Because... Well, and this is one thing that I hate too is that, if I pack like button down shirts and stuff like that, they're going to get wrinkled. So you
Why
have
don't you
to
get a garment bag?
What do you mean? Oh, well, yeah.
Or I mean,
but you can't put them all in there, depending on how many button downs.
I guess so,
and
but I mean,
blazers
they
you're gonna
always
take.
have irons everywhere.
They do, but that's what I'm saying. It's still a challenge.
Well, this person had to iron everything.
Of course, because they
rightfully
just
so.
chunked everything in there, man.
I have a
Goodness
garment bag. I
gracious.
like to have my clothes hanging. It's just easier.
Yeah.
I just steam everything before I leave.
So then the next thing is, and I guess because again, the scenario is this is the first time that you're going to go. So depending on the situation, you also have to consider, okay, are we going to split it? Like you pay for your stuff and I pay for my stuff? Or as a dude, do I pay for the entire thing?
I'm trying to think of how I would react if a guy said, hey, I'd like to go out of town with you. It'll be this much. I mean,
You're saying that would kill the mood a little bit?
yeah.
I agree. I feel like, if I was going to take somebody on vacation, I'd be like, okay, I'll take care of the trip. I'll take care of the flight.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to get some information from you because, you need to plug all that stuff in. But yes, you should do that. But I know everybody's economic or financial situation is not.
Yeah.
Is
Because
not
didn't you see there's
always-
like more guys now that when they go on like first dates, they say like, let's go Dutch. Like they're the ones.
Some of them do,
So why
yeah.
would they think vacations? Oh, maybe because you're kind of in a relationship with that person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't. Well, again, if financially they can't do it, they want to go on vacation, right? But they can afford, like, for them to do it.
I'd be like, go by yourself, take pictures.
Oh, dang.
Well, okay, that's not true.
That's hardcore.
I don't know. I mean, like, depends on like how far into the relationship you are. Because I would feel offended if a guy was like, "Yeah, I want to take you on vacation. Can you give me this much money?" Be like,
Well, he's not going to put it like that. If he does, then yeah, he deserves whatever he gets. But I'm just saying, let's just say he's, he doesn't make a lot of money.
yeah,
And so Like, again, because you have to factor in
what's my financial status in this scenario? Am I also like...
Well, nowadays women, they seem to do okay. Like for the most part, they have bills too. Right.
So
they
like
might not
if
be
I
able to
dated
do
a
it.
guy who had like a lower income job,
Yeah.
right? If I had that too, would I still have to assume that I need to help out?
So let me ask you this. So what if in that situation, let's say you do well and you're dating a guy that's not, and you want to go on vacation, but you know that he might not be able to afford it.
I would just pay for it.
No.
If I was financially,
you would pay for you, or you would?
I would pay for all of us.
Oh my god!
All of us. There's only two. Everybody.
Who else are you bringing along on your vacation? Jesus. All right.
But if I was like, if I had it like
but
that,
you don't think he'll feel a certain kind of way about that?
I would phrase it in a way of like, I would love to do this for us, and this is something that I want to do, so I would love to pay for it. And
then he would say, okay.
Well, if he's, never mind. I mean,
wow.
I'm just saying that if I was...
You do know that would make him kind of feel
okay,
a
so
certain
what,
kind of way.
as a woman, what am I supposed to do?
No, I don't know. It's a tough... I pass no judgment, but he's still going to feel a certain kind of way about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, if he... Okay, so if in this scenario, if the guy said, I would love to go there, baby, but I just don't have the money. If I say like, I want to do this for us, you're saying that a guy still...
Well, in that situation, I think he might be a little more... He might be like, okay, you get it this time. I'll get you
or be like, I really want to
time.
go this place and I would love to go with you. I don't want to go by myself. I would love to pay for you to come with me.
Yeah, because, I mean, in all fairness, vacations are a luxury. And I know that not everybody gets to do that. Yeah. And some people, they'll save the entire year to take one vacation because, you know, times sometimes do get tough or whatever. But me personally, I kind of feel like, and I do that too, you know, I have to, you know, put away money too. And I do that because I know I want to take a vacation. What I will say is I've been on vacation by myself and I've been on vacation with other people, and I like going with other people. Just makes...
That's a luxury of being a dude. As a woman, you could travel alone.
I know a lot of women that travel alone.
For work?
No, just for luxury. For just to go see stuff. I know a lot of them do.
That's so dangerous.
I know, but the times have changed, man. The times have changed. And what's the alternative? Like you said, if they really want to go and they
maybe
don't
take
have
a family
anybody.
member, a friend, somebody to make sure you're not murdered.
Here's the thing about it, and I've heard this from both women and myself personally, is when you go by yourself, the nice thing is that you get to do whatever it is that you want. You don't have to discuss it, which, you know, the dynamic is when you're dating somebody. Let's just say that you're going to New York, right? And there's tons of stuff to do in New York, depending on what you want to do. But let's say you want to go to the museum, but they don't want to go to the museum. They want to go see skyscrapers and go up in the top and stuff like that. It could potentially cause, because you have to compromise. You can't say so like, well, no, you go and I'll go. No, you have to compromise. And so when you go by yourself, you don't need
Unless
to.
you have it like that, like, baby, I'm going to go shopping all day. You go do guy stuff and we'll meet together for dinner. I've done stuff like that before.
You might as well go by yourself.
No, because you're still connected in the end. It's just like, if I want to go shopping somewhere, I know that my husband doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, but that's a husband. So this is first date. I mean,
that's right.
Date,
that's right.
This is
okay,
the first
then
date.
that would be...
Yeah, because if you're talking about that, then yes, like, go away. Just kidding. It's like, ugh, the less I see of you, I'm just, oh, no.
Okay, first time.
This is the first time. But the point is still the same. It's just, you still have to compromise a little bit. But when you go by yourself, you can do whatever you want to. Yeah. So even on days that, let's say you have a plan, and I've done this before, like I have a tentative plan, and then at the last minute, I change it. I can do that because I'm by myself, so I'm not inconveniencing anyone.
Yeah, or maybe you want a certain cuisine, but as you're walking to the restaurant, you pass something else and you're like, oh, nope, I want that instead.
Especially New York, so when you see like lines out of certain little hole in the wall restaurants, you're like, what's going on there? What do they know that I don't? And then you get in, I've done that many, many a times. Sometimes with friends, by myself, where I'm like, what is this? And you ask people, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's a Chinese restaurant and they have the best noodles or blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, let me get in there.
I want some noodles now.
Yeah, so that happens. But again, you have to plan these things out, right? Yeah. So that's one of the challenges. The next thing too, right? And again, this is the first vacation you've taken with somebody, so it's different because if you didn't already know, you're gonna find out what their sleeping habits are. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do all men snore?
Because
Like, I mean, medically,
that's how
what
God made us. I don't know.
what is it?
With the breath thing, I don't know. But
It's like 99% of men snores. It's like, what? It's got to be some kind of.
I think I snore. I'm pretty sure I'm off and on. There are times when I do snore and times when I don't.
Have you ever woken yourself up from snoring?
Yes. But but I'm a light sleeper anyways. It's not fun. It's not fun because
It's always
sometimes
funny to see someone do that when
Yeah.
they're like, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh. It's like,
That's priceless. But that's how you know they woke up because they
Yeah.
just made that
and they'd
weird
be like, I went to
noise, yeah.
sleep. And you're like,
And all of a sudden the snoring stops. Sometimes it can be soothing though, depending on how the snore is because it's steady. So it's a nice
if it's
little-
yours or you mean someone else's?
Someone else's obviously, but you know.
Do people out there think somebody else's snoring is soothing?
It might be. I don't know. There's probably people out there that enjoy.
Maybe it's like a white noise machine. It's like, like just a little.
It could be. But what if, because I was thinking like, what if it's a guy and he has like sleep apnea
Oh,
and he has to bring on the thing in the machine and everything. And it's like, all right, baby. Gives you a peck on the cheek and puts on his Darth Vader.
I dated a guy for, I don't know, maybe it was like a month or so. That did come up because we were talking about something and I was like, I'm a very light sleeper and, you know, my issues with people that snore, right? He had sleep apnea. He had the machine and all the thing, whatever. At the time, like he was living alone. So he's like, well, I have it, but I don't wear it because I sleep alone. Like, why would I, right?
Right.
But he brought it up as a legitimate concern of like us moving forward. He's like, how are we going? Because he didn't want to wear it.
Right.
So he's like, what do we do going forward?
When
and
did
that
you
was
figure
like,
out? Or you're not with him anymore.
no,
so
no.
we
It
know
was,
how
it
that
was just
ended.
like, you know, casually we were dating, like trying to see if it was going to be anything. And
Right.
it wasn't. I mean, he's very nice, but like it just didn't work
But
out.
could you be with somebody long term if they had one
You
of
know
those
how
machines?
I feel about that, separate bedrooms. That's a whole other episode in itself.
I know, but still in this situation you're on vacation, so you don't have that luxury. So now what do?
I would just not sleep
Get a
the
separate
whole
room?
No, I would just not sleep the whole vacation and then come
that
back
sounds
and
miserable. That's not a
well,
good
what am I supposed to
plan.
say to this new guy that I really like that we're going away for the first time and I'm excited? And I say like,
Earplugs, you can get earplugs. You ever think about that?
I don't want something in my ear all night long. I don't know.
Well, sometimes you don't feel them. You don't feel them at all, especially the little foamy ones. You just pop them in there and
Doesn't that build up a lot of earwax? and
it's not
stuff?
good, but I'm just saying.
Okay, well, so you're
but it's a
giving me bad
temporary
advice.
thing. People sometimes use that. So like if they have to sleep in a place that's noisy in general, you put those on. I mean, the nightshades too, people use those.
Yeah, I have those.
So I don't use them. I only use them if I'm going to be in a place where it's really bright. Then I'll put them on.
I have some that I got just because I thought it was cute because it says F off in pink and it looks really cute.
It's horrible.
I guess I never thought about bringing earbuds on a vacation with someone. I guess, I don't know. I have this thing like I need to be on high alert. And I feel like if I'm taking out one of my senses, what if something happens?
in a hotel room?
Yeah.
Like what?
They burn
What are you
down. Someone tries to get in my room. Someone that works for the hotel comes in. That's happened.
You can put the little latch thing on there so they can't get into the room.
Oh,
Not everybody does that, but I do that all the time.
yeah, that's true.
You're on vacation.
I don't know. It's something about me having to be alert.
Yeah. And you're also going to find out like their before they go to sleep routine. Like, do they brush their teeth? Do they not brush their teeth? Do they, you know what I'm saying?
They're like, all right, good night. Like, aren't you gonna brush your teeth and wash your face? Like,
for what?
or here's the okay. This may be a whole other thing, but like people who, if you're running around all day, I have this thing like I don't want to get into my bed dirty, right? So
Yeah.
it's like I rinse off and then I go to bed.
Sure.
I've been with some people that they just
jump
go to,
into
and then
bed.
you're just, it's dirty and it's stinky and you don't sleep as well, but now you're stinking up the sheets of outside sweat and whatever for the day, suntan lotion. I don't want that in the bed. Is that bad? Okay.
It's perfectly logical and I'm right there with you, but I know that there are people that don't mind that. Both women and men that don't mind that. It's weird. I'm of the same opinion. I don't like to get into bed, dirty. It's kind of weird.
It sounds weird.
Yeah, you know how I mean. Now there's times when I've like accidentally just like went in bed and just fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's been a long day. We were
but
out
that's not your
walking and
ritual.
stuff.
It's like
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm dead.
Because I'm saying,
now,
if
about
you're
to
on
crash out.
vacation, let's say, and you guys drank way too much and you both came back to the hotel and you just like passed on the bed, like, no, I'm not gonna be like, well, you didn't shower before you passed out.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say that.
But you're right, though. I mean, you do because I've done that before. Because I like to take showers. I don't like to get it dirty either. And so the other person is like, they're okay with it. What are you supposed to do? Because you're gonna find out really, really quick what their ritual is every night before. And then the other thing too with women too, sometimes they have to take off all the makeup. They have to wash their face. They have to, if they put on a mask for that night, like.
Maybe going on vacation is not the best time to do a facial mask.
Then you got curls and the curlers, if that's the thing. I don't know. Do women still do that? They still wear curls at night?
They have the soft ones now.
Okay. But either way, like all of that, they're going to see that and it's like, okay, sweet. Yay.
So what's like a normal routine that you would be okay with for a woman? What's the normal things?
I think, well, for me, I again, I do like, now, depending on, right? So if all day long, you're right, if all day long we've been not getting dirty, but you know what I mean? Like been out and about, have sunscreen on. It's been a hot, sticky day. So let's say we went out to the beach. I would hope that she would be of the same mindset of like, let me clean up a little bit before, you know what I mean? And I would do the same. That said, let's say we're at a place where you really don't have a lot of activity. It might be okay. It just depends. It really does depend on the day. Most women, they like to be clean.
Yeah.
Like because I know some people, there's different, let's say, mindsets of some people think they should shower every day. Other people feel like they should shower every other day. And then there's people that think that they should only shower like once a week. And that exists. So you need to figure out where you're at. I like to shower every day, sometimes twice a day.
So I shower twice a day. But the only difference is if it's winter, like to your point of like, if it's winter and like freezing, I'm not sweating. I'm not going outside for walks. I'm not sweating. So if I only take a shower in the morning that day, sometimes I'm okay with that. Cause it's like, well, I've just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Summertime, no, you have to. If you run errands or you go work out or
if you've
whatever.
been in a swimming pool or been at the beach or been in any kind of water.
Yeah.
Because lake water is nasty.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's nasty. And obviously if you go to a pool, the chlorine and all that stuff is in your hair. So yeah, you gotta. It's not the sexiest thing, but it's
I went to the pool yesterday actually, and there was a scenario that made me laugh because there was a family there and there was like a bunch of kids. I think it was like a like extended family. So there was like, I don't know, maybe 10 kids. And one of the dads was like, so-and-so, did you pooted or whatever? And I was with a friend and I was like, see, that's fecal matter all up in the pool. That's why you don't put your face in there.
That's so horrible. This is taking a turn.
Sorry, but it just made me think. Because, I mean.
For the worse. Oh.
I don't know how people can put their heads underwater in a public pool. I just don't understand. It's so gross. They're not
thinking about it. They're just having fun. And
I can have fun and not put my face in the water or have that water in my mouth. I just don't. I'm sorry. I can't.
This conversation is taking a turn for the worse. But no, you're right. I once dated a woman and she was of the same mind frame. So she had her own pool and she's like, I don't go to public pools.
Yeah.
I stay in my pool and that's it because that's what I know. And
yeah, that's
whatever.
totally. If it was my pool and like it would, even if it was just family in there, you still feel like it's like family germs, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
Germs.
I mean, public pools is like, who knows how many people have been in it.
I don't want to think about it.
And then the people who
but
on
they
the
have
other
chlorine,
side.
Though. Chlorine.
That's what I was about to say. The other side of that is the person who says, well, the chlorine kills them. Like, nah,
it kind of does. Kind of. I'm not saying it makes it sanitary, but I'm just saying it does clean it up a bit. That's the whole purpose of putting chlorine and stuff in those chemicals so that the water doesn't go bad. Fine.
Okay. Well, why does the sign say on the pool, if you've had diarrhea in the last 2 weeks, don't get in the pool? Why does it say that then? If it cleans everything and it burns it all off?
Let's move on to the next thing because I'm getting just horribly disgusted right now by this conversation. But okay, so here's the other thing. Here's the other thing to consider. So you can plan this perfect vacation, right? The problem is sometimes things don't always go as planned, right? Sometimes weather becomes a factor. So if let's say you're at a place where it's a beach and then all of a sudden there's a hurricane.
Oh my God. That sucks.
Now you're screwed because it's like, or some
hey, but I bet you that
thunderstorm.
relationship will last. So if you're in a tragedy together or something scary,
I
you may have that.
guess.
What do they call that effect?
I don't know. It's a shared experience for
Yeah.
sure, but yeah.
You're like, we
Well,
almost
yes and
died.
no, yes and no. And I'm going to transition into the
Oh.
next thing, but things will come up from time to time. Or let's just say, let's say you're going to an event. Let's say you decide that you want to go to Coachella or something like that. I don't know why you would want to do that as a couple, but let's just say that was a thing. And then you get there and you book the reservation, you book the room, and then you get there and they're like, oh, sorry, we can't find your reservation. Or we have no record of any of that stuff. Now you have to figure, and everything's booked, so they can't find your room. Now what do you do? Because you're here. And
Yeah,
we
what
don't
do
have
you do?
I don't know. You have to figure it out. Chances are you'll have to find, I don't know. I guess you'll have to find like a cheap motel somewhere.
Do you have to
It
like
might be
rent a
further
car
away.
and like drive out of the town?
I don't know, but I will say this, right? Anytime something like that happens, it's not planned. So that's when you're really going to find out who your partner really is. Do they get upset? Do they start blaming you? Do you start blaming each other?
Are they good under pressure?
Right. Because like, let's say I was in charge of the arrangements. Like I'm already going to feel bad because I know I did it. And then if my girlfriend or wife or whatever is like, you see, that's why I told you, you should have got this. And I got to hear it from her now too. And I'm already going to be like, oh, how do I, because you can't leave. It's vacation.
Yeah.
We're scheduled to be here for a couple of days. And now the plan has been altered in the worst kind of way. But things happen. Things happen all the time. And so you can't really plan for the unexpected, but to a certain degree, you kind of have to know that whatever your plans are, chances are they're going to have to be altered just a tad.
It sounds like
'cause
something
life
you
happens.
should work on for yourself as a person. Like you need to be able to stay calm in situations, learn how to control yourself. So that way, when things come up in your life like that, you can act accordingly rather than flying off the handles or getting too agitated or whatever.
Well, even at that, let's just say for the sake of argument, you go to, let's say, the Grand Canyon. So there's like rafting and like events or hiking. And so it doesn't necessarily need to be a disaster, but now you have a challenge because I've never been hiking with this person. And now we're hiking and they're complaining like it's hot, it's sticky, it's horrible. This is not a pleasant experience. And then you might be having the time of your life, but they're not.
What if they like hurt their foot and you had to carry them the whole way?
Or they twist their ankle. Like stuff happens all the time. And it's going to test your relationship like from the get-go. Because now it's like, okay, what do I do? Because if they're a sport about it and they try to make a bad situation better by just going with it and really just trying to make the most of it, that's one thing. But if they're just like, nope, I'm done. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. You're going to start fighting, which is the transition that I was going to go into, because one of the things, it's bad enough when you have a fight with somebody, right? It's worse when you're on vacation because you can't just go home.
Yeah.
You can't you're there. You have to stick it through at least to the very end.
Yeah.
And if things get really, really bad, you put you in a bind because then you have to get back and you're like, you know what? I'm done with this person. But you still have to finish out the vacation.
Right.
You can't just leave. I mean, I guess you could, but it's going to be awkward.
Oh, that'd be real
the
awkward.
whole entire trip's going to be awkward.
What if you just left and didn't say anything?
Don't recommend it.
Ooh.
Don't recommend it.
I bet you that's happened to people.
Yeah. I mean, fighting in general is not a good thing, right? Because you would hope that you would have at least the frame of mind of talking about it and come into a resolution and be like, okay, but sometimes you can't. I would say the worst thing that you could ever do, I would never suggest this on a first vacation, is to go camping. Camping is hard.
Don't go camping ever in any scenario. It's like the worst.
No, camping is great, but know your audience.
Yeah.
Know who you're going with. If they're outdoorsy, great, enjoy it. But if they're not, they're more, you know what? I'm a city person. I like all the conveniences and all the the amenities that we have in the city, then don't
But
bother.
wouldn't that be up to the girl to say, I don't like to go camping, knowing that I'm not going to like that?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, let's do
But
something
sometimes women
else.
are accommodating
That's
and they
true.
don't say anything and they're kind of like, because the guy might also sell it like, oh, we're going to be in a cabin. So it's all good. But it's like the cabin doesn't have running water. You know what I'm saying?
I would ask these things.
It's going to have bugs or something.
Does it have a hairdryer?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But sometimes women are, they don't want to feel like, like stick in the muds, right? So they're like, sure, let's try it out. But then they don't know to what extent it's how bad it's going to be until they get there. He might know, but he doesn't care, right? Maybe he's an outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
So for him, it's like, I don't care, but everybody has different needs. I like going camping too, but I also like manicures. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It just made me think of like I was in a relationship with a guy, and when we did go like traveling and stuff like that, we'd stayed at Airbnbs a lot because that's on it. For me, it's the best because you have the whole house, the whole property, blah, blah, blah.
You know what I do? Sorry, just real quick. When you said that, you know what I like doing when you go to Airbnbs is you look at their TVs and they're still signed in and their old Netflix.
They offer them.
Well, sometimes you could see the multiple people. Like they'd see all the accounts on there. And I'd like going into other people because then you can see what's on their list, what they've been watching, and you can actually, anyway, sorry. I just get a kick out of that.
Yeah. Well, most places will have all the subscriptions to like Netflix, Prime, whatever it is, like it's included in there.
But anyways, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. But he knew like there's a certain standard of place that I need to stay at. So it's like he wouldn't even send me anything that was like if we were going out to the lake or something, like he knows I don't want to stay in a trailer. It's like, don't even send me that Airbnb because I don't want to stay, or like an RV. I've seen RVs as Airbnbs. Like, I don't want to do that. So it's like, I'm not saying it has to be super fancy, but like it has to be like clean. The bedding needs to look like normal, not like something you see in like Texas Chainsaw Massacre house or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So there's just a little standard.
I feel sorry for the dude.
I think most women are like that.
I don't know. Yeah, there's some women that don't mind roughing it, so to speak. There are some.
I'm not saying it has to have a bunch of amenities. I'm just saying in my age now, maybe if I was younger, I would be like, But my age now, it's like, no, I know what
even a younger Robbie tolerating anything like that.
I don't think we would have been friends. Because I have calmed down like a lot. As much as you probably don't think so, because sometimes I go on my rants and stuff. But like, I've definitely.
Yeah. So the guy that's dating you is going to have to just make sure that.
I'm just saying, like, it needs to, like, when you see a bed on like an Airbnb and it's like, I don't want to lay my head on that.
Yeah.
Like,
look, so I'm not judging because I'm the same way. I am absolutely.
Well, it sounds like you are being judgy.
I am. Well, I am being judgy only because I know most guys don't care about that.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
Most
that's
guys
the
don't,
difference. But most women need at least a place where they're like, I can lay my head on that pillow.
I do too. I like clean places. I like the good life, if that makes sense. And, most of the time I can afford it. So I'm going to do it because it's like, I can take care of this. Like,
well, the other thing too is money, because I remember like being younger when you didn't really have money. I also would be like, I wasn't as strict about it because I knew there was a money situation. Yeah. But again, I'm, how old I am, I won't say, but I'm old enough where it's like, I'm going to stay in nice, clean places.
Me too. I'm telling you, I love that. Whenever they offer upgrades, most of the time I take it. Like, yes, please, I'll take it. Please, like, I didn't even know this was an option, but absolutely.
Chocolates on the pillow? Yes.
I enjoy flying first class most of the time. Like, again, unless it's ridiculously priced, I'm going to bump up for sure. I enjoy it. I want to get the little champagne and the
and you deserve
it.
If you were 20, no, but now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, everybody's finances are different, right? But
that's true.
But I'm at a certain age where I've put in my time. I've worked. I have enough funds that I can do the upgrades. I'm going to do them. Like, I don't mind pampering myself. Not even a little bit. But I know most dudes. Now, I have dated women in the past where they like roughing it. And they've suggested, hey, let's go camping. Let's go do that. And I'm the one that tells them, no, I'm okay. Because one, she really wanted to do the whole camping, like the tent and like the little burners. And like, she's like, I want to go to this place where it's far away from things. There's no electricity. There's no running water. There's nothing. Like, and I want to stay there. And I was like,
how long were y'all dating at that time when she suggested it?
3 or 4 maybe 5 months, something like that. It was, we were deep at that point, but I told her, I'm sorry, I can't. I've done it and I know what it's like. And I'm like, no.
But even 3 months is really soon to like be in a situation where, because you're still newly dating, where you're around that person and you're not bathing or shaving or like
some
things.
guys don't mind. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the person.
Okay.
I'm not that person.
Guys like stinky women?
No, well, yeah, kind of. Some guys do. I like a clean woman.
I thought it was like universal. Like men want women to like smell pretty, like have perfume, and like
I most certainly do.
Okay.
Yes, I love
like,
that. Yes, but there are guys that enjoy, and there are women too that like guys that have the natural musk scent, whatever. I heard Matthew McConaughey doesn't use deodorant, or Brad Pitt, they don't use deodorant. Now, they're human. For as good looking as they are, they're still human. They're going to sweat and body odor is going to happen. So, but whatever women they're with,
you just don't sleep with their arm open. Like maybe you don't get in there.
But some women actually do, believe it or not, some women actually do like that. They like the natural scent of a guy.
Write in and let us know. Do you like them? Do you like them stinky or clean?
Well, it's freaky, but yeah, I've dated women that because whenever I tell them like, oh, I like to bathe every day, they're like, what? And I'm like,
that's a red flag if I ever heard of it.
Well, for some people,
don't bathe every day?
So I was like, wait a minute. Okay. It opens up a conversation for sure. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to know your audience. Hopefully you're dating somebody that you're on the same page.
I'm surprised women feel like that, because for a woman, it's a bit different. You know what I'm saying?
No. Expand on that, please.
Things are open. And they need to be.
Never mind. Never mind. I don't want to.
I'm just saying it's more important that a woman should be clean as opposed to a male.
Yes.
So I'm surprised that there are women that are like, yeah, I don't like to bathe, or why would I? Or it's weird to me.
I get it. I'm right there with you. But there are people that are like that, and good for them. I'm not one of those people. I need to be in the proximity of a shower. Hot running water. I'm going to need that
and a working
minimum.
toilet.
And a working toilet at minimum.
Yeah.
Because I have gone to the bathroom in the woods. That was not fun. We went hunting one time. We didn't prepare very well, so we didn't have any place to stay. So I needed to go to the restroom, and we're in the middle of the woods, and there's nothing that you can do. So I was like, okay. Number one is easy, obviously. Yeah. There's nothing to that. Like, what are you talking about?
You guys do that on the daily. It's like, I'll go in my backyard. Who cares?
We're animals. Who cares? But no. Number two.
I've never had.
It's liberating.
I've never had to number two outside like that.
Good for you.
I've had to number one before under certain circumstances.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's still bad, but for a woman, it's different.
You're right. But for me, because you worry about, like animals and like insects and stuff like that. It's just a weird. Yeah. It's weird, and you're in nature. Although, like I said, it was a little liberating because you're like, oh, it's nature. So. Huh.
I'm okay with not experiencing that ever. It's totally fine.
I agree. But another thing that you can discover on vacation is, I don't want to say dull, but I would say how adventurous a person might be or how unadventurous they might be.
Yeah.
Because I've been on vacation where sometimes the women they don't want to do anything. They just want to sit around by the pool and read. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that, right? Sometimes there's guys too that just don't want to do anything. It's like, hey, there's an activity. It's like, I don't want to go there. And so that can sometimes create conflict. It's different than like, I want to go do this and you want to go do that. It's more of like, I don't want to do anything. Like I'm on vacation, because there is a mindset of I'm on vacation. I don't want to do anything. Yeah. I just want to lounge around, eat, and go to restaurants. And that's all I want to do. So it could potentially be a problem, because if you're an adventurous person, you're like, no, it's a new city. I want to see the sights. I want to go get lost. I want to go experience some stuff. And they're like,
yeah,
I don't want to do that. It causes a conflict.
When you establish that before you leave, though, like when you start talking about like, yeah, we could go hiking, we can go kayaking, like wouldn't you, and that person would tell you at that time, like, well, I don't really like any of that stuff. Wouldn't that come up?
You would think so, but sometimes people
lie.
Believe it or not, yes, they lie. I was going to say stretch the truth, right? Because they might like the other person. So they think right now, like if somebody were to propose something that I know I'm not going to like, but I really like her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then we go out there and I'm like, I'm there. It's been a long day. And I'm just like, I just don't want to do it. It's going to cause a problem. But you're right. You should have that discussion before you go. But
it could be true too. Like if you say like, I like to be outdoors, and let's say that is true, but you go there and let's say for whatever reason that day is like particularly hot, it changes your love of being outdoors. And then they may be like, well, I thought you said, it's like, I do, but I don't want to be that uncomfortable all day.
Yeah. And then the problem is for the person that suggested it or whatever, they're constantly trying to make the other person feel better. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hot. It's like, well, here's a ice cold water and, take a sip and it'll be all right. And this, because they're really doing their best.
Shade for a little bit.
But that person is just having none of it. They're just miserable. They don't want to be. And again, that's when you're going to find out who your partner really is.
Right.
Because look, life, regardless of vacation, life's going to throw stuff at you. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be, it's not going to be optimal. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And so things come up and you need to be able to have a partner that you can rely on and that is there with you in trying to make the best out of a bad situation together instead of fighting.
Yeah.
Because it will bring out the worst. And again, if you're the type of person that, let's say your partner did drop the ball, because that happens, but you're just going to harp on that and make them feel horrible and constantly remind them like it's your fault that we're in this situation. I don't know. I kind of feel like a vacation together would either make or break a relationship.
Can I say that maybe a one positive that can come out of it? Let's say that you do have a fight, and I just mean like whatever it is, right? Where you get annoyed and let's say he leaves the room or something. So it's kind of like your first fight, but it's not over anything in particular, right? And then you come back together, and what if you discover at that time that, he comes back in, he's like, baby, I'm sorry. Like, I care about you. Like I want to, and then you have this sweet moment where you're like, yeah, that was dumb. And like, do you think that could like be like, oh, okay, well, it's stressful, but we know how to communicate and be kind to each other. So it could be a good thing.
It could turn it around. Cause if you have that, right, and you care about one another, like once you get back, especially if you had a disaster happen, you have a great story for the rest of, you know what I mean? Instead of like a horror story, it could still be horrible in the sense of like, and we had talked about this. Let's say you go on vacation and your partner gets food poisoning.
Yes.
And that happens, right? You're adventurous. And let's say you go to a restaurant that's kind of sketchy because you don't know the place. So you're just thinking, oh, sure, let's try it out. Let's just go there. Turns out you get really sick, you're throwing up, you have stomach issues. It could really turn really, really bad because now you can't do anything because the person is trying their best not to die.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I told you this, but I had a scenario where we both got food poisoning at the same time. And yeah, it sucks at the time, but we could laugh about it now. I was like, oh man, do you remember that horrible night where we were both like, you know what I mean? On each sink. That's like, it's like
the scene of the bridesmaids.
Oh no.
And they go in the sink. It's like, don't do it. Look away. Look away.
No, it was like this one place had like a kitchenette kind of thing. So like I was puking in like the kitchen sink and then he was in the bathroom. It was horrible. But like I said, you have this shared memory that it's terrible, but it's kind of like.
It's shared experience.
Yeah.
And it's either going to bring you closer together or like, no, I don't ever, no, I can't even look at her anymore.
I think it's better to have certain bad things like that happen than the relationship being like, it's always like mediocre or just fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to have certain tests. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, you're going to learn a lot of things about yourself, what you can tolerate, and especially about your partner, whether or not, they're of the same mindset whenever you get into. Because a lot of times, even friendships for that matter, they don't always get tested.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get tested and it turns out like, oh, they're not real friends.
Yeah.
Like,
or I didn't know they were shady. I didn't know.
Right. Or like on vacation with your partner, you could be like, man, they gave up really fast.
Yeah.
Like the things got rough and they bailed. Like, I mean, like if you said if they left.
Yeah.
Like that, that's not your person.
And even if it does get heated, you can just say like, I need to step away for a moment. I'll be back.
Right.
Totally acceptable.
Yeah.
I would respect that more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. how you handle every situation, because life has a way of just throwing little things at you. How you handle those is really going to tell you a lot about that person.
Yeah.
And whether or not, because they're, like you said, it can make you closer, especially if you turn a bad situation into a good. There's nothing better than that, because the situation's still the same, right? Let's say in that scenario where you couldn't find, the reservation got mixed up, you don't have it. Now you got to go stay at a Motel 6, right? So your partner could be like, ugh, this is horrible, I don't want to be that. Or they could be like, you know what? We're still here. Mm-hmm. It's not so bad. Let's just, do the best we can. Like, it'll be all right. Let's salvage it. It's like, yeah, let's do that. The vacation can still be good, despite the fact that it wasn't perfect, or, whatever you had planned didn't work out that way. It's just different.
How long do you think is appropriate amount of time before you go away together? Do you have like a rule?
No, but if I had to say, I think at minimum, because going away together, I would imagine that by that point, you guys have already had sex and been intimate. I would imagine.
What if you hadn't? What if this was like the big,
we're
going away for the weekend?
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. Because think about that for a second. The guy's going to want to, just FYI.
Nobody thinks that we're going out of town with this dude, and that's not what he's expecting.
But I know. But if they do, because let's just say they've been dating, and let's say, every scenario is different, but she's kind of into him, but the trip is really nice. Right? Like, they're going to New York. They're going to be staying at a very nice hotel.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to pass that up. Like, I don't like him that much, but it's
again,
New York.
You should make it known, though, like, I would love to go here and spend this time with you, but let me make it clear that I'm not ready to be intimate yet.
Okay.
I mean, isn't that better than getting there?
No, it's great. But you got to look at it from the guy's point of view. He's going to be like,
you know what? I don't want to go.
Maybe not. Yeah. But tell you what, next one, you can go.
I feel like if I was the dude and I had paid for this trip and she came with me, and then when we got there, she was like, oh, just so you know, I'm not being intimate with you. If I was expecting that, I would feel slighted a little bit, like, you just came knowing you weren't going to, just to get a free trip.
That's what I'm saying. So the caveat being that hopefully you've already gotten to that point where that's happened. But if you hadn't, good luck to you, man. Good luck to you, because now if the dude, especially if he has expectations, he's going to be sadly disappointed. And again, you're there, so there's nothing you can do. So you're just going to have to muscle through it, so to speak. Because then you have to think, especially if you have if there's only one bed, either A, he's going to have to lay there and just keep his hands to himself, or sleep on the couch, or get a cot or whatever.
Is there a woman out there that really believes if she's dating a guy and he says, let's go away together and we're staying in a hotel and there's one bed, that she actually is like,
I don't know.
Why would anyone agree?
Anybody write in and
I just don't.
That. Because sometimes, whether it's implied or not, they might feel like, oh, I'm just going on this trip. Like, you're just going to have my company and that's it.
But he's telling you you're staying in the same bed.
I know. But there are people like that. And so that's what I'm saying. I think that has to happen. And that is part of it. I'm not saying that it's expected that you put out when you're there, but obviously
Jose's not going to take you anywhere if you don't put out.
I'm just saying, like, hopefully that's been established. Now, granted, things can happen if you had a long day and she's just not in the mood or whatever. For sure, totally understandable. But if that hasn't been ironed out, so to speak, good luck to you, man. It's not going to be a good vacation, or it's not going to be what you think anyways. So, yeah, I would say that has to happen. I don't know, maybe 3 months into it, perhaps, depending on how many times you've seen each other before then. 6 months, I think, is for sure a pretty good time to start discussing
maybe
vacations and be like,
I definitely wouldn't do it if I was not in a very serious, committed relationship with you, though. I know there's people that kind of like, they're casually dating even at 6 months. It's kind of like, you're not spending the night at each other's houses. It's just, I mean, you do everything else, but it's just like, there's something that's not that close or whatever. Yeah. But I couldn't, again, because you're sleeping next to this person, I need to feel safe. I need to feel like I can trust you.
Yeah.
And
that you're going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what I'm saying. If you do it too early, you don't know him that well. Yeah. Right. And so there's a movie on Netflix that's like that. And yeah, it's not It's not a good
It doesn't
movie.
end well for her.
It doesn't because they meet and almost immediately he wants to take her away. Almost immediately. And I can see the temptation and the allure of that.
Being
It's like,
swept up by some
exactly.
handsome
and,
man.
Yeah, and he was a handsome dude. You know, he's driving a nice car, and he's like, you know, I've been to these places and that place. Let me take you away for the weekend. And again, you're a woman. Let's say you're single. You've been dating all these dudes on the dating apps. It's just they're like, hey, you want to split the bill?
Yeah.
At Chili's. Don't get me wrong. And hopefully they're not
Well,
mad
you
at me.
ate 3 pieces of the egg roll, so you pay
right.
for half. The
Right, they're
appetizer.
going through the bill and they're like, "Oh, this is for you and this is yours." Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that either. But you know what I'm saying? And here comes this guy that is well off saying, "Let me take you away."
He's like, we're gonna go to Bali for a week.
Yeah, like come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Like, how do you say like, "No, I don't know you"? That was like, come on. And especially if let's say you live in a urban area where it's, you know, you just need to get away.
I
for
guarantee
one
you,
reason.
murderinos don't go away with strangers.
You would be surprised.
I don't know.
You would be surprised. For all the literature and for all the information that we have out there, it happens all the time. Women go missing all the time. And
I know,
not
but
a good
if you're
thing,
a
but I'm just saying.
murderino, it's like you know all of your potential like murder aspects, I guess, and they wouldn't. I'd find it hard to believe that they would go away.
Well,
with a
here's
stranger.
the catch on that, right? Because murderinos typically you're thinking of a dude that lives at home and stuff like that, or like let's say like the guy that met women on Craigslist and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not well off, and I would think that it would throw a woman off if he's like, well, he's a millionaire. So
I
it's
would be
different.
highly suspect of anyone. I don't care what your financial status is. If we meet in a
How
weekly,
many millionaire serial killers have there been? I'm sure there has been, but they're few and
they
far
got money to
between.
cover it up. You don't know.
I get that, but that's what I'm saying. You don't see that a lot because they're millionaires. So the thought process, like, why would they?
Well, why would a hot guy rape anybody? Because if you think it's about
Oh, this
sex
conversation
only,
has gone bad.
I'm just saying that, like, just because you look good and you can get it.
Touche. I can't say anything to that. You brought the R word into it, so that's the end of that conversation. Okay, last and not least, the other R word, road trip.
Okay.
Who doesn't
Road
like a good road trip? Who
Road
doesn't
trip
like
snacks.
Who
That's
doesn't
important.
like? Yes, road trip snacks. Road trip music. Mm-hmm. You have to have the music.
Wait, what's your road trip snacks?
I like Nutter Butters, pretzels, water. If I can get fruit, I like fruit.
While you're driving?
Yeah, because fruit is good. I like
But you're
fruit.
driving.
Well, yeah, but she can feed it to me while I'm driving.
She puts a bunch of grapes over your head.
Yeah, while I'm driving. And we crash. But hey,
Yeah.
we're feeding grapes.
He
to her.
died with a grape in his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, and don't get me wrong, back in the day, get like Doritos, Funyuns.
I like Twizzlers too.
Twizzlers, Sour Patches, if that's your thing. I try to stay away from chocolates because sometimes it gets hot and
melty.
if you leave it in the car, yeah. So
I don't. Chocolates makes you kind of feel a little bit more groggy too than something like sour or something like that.
and the real responsible women will sometimes bring like healthy snacks, like little cheese and and crackers and stuff, you know, or summer sausage.
I won't do cheese. I won't do anything that needs to be refrigerated. But
Well, you
like,
can bring like a little cooler. That's the beauty of road trips. You take whatever
Yeah,
you want to with
that's
you.
true.
You
But
can
I
make
would do like a
sandwiches.
mix of bad things and good things, kind of like how I set up here. Snacks is like I have some good options,
Right.
but then I'll have a bad option
Yeah.
in case you
You
feel
know,
bad.
and I'm going to digress just a tad bit here, but you know what I would love to do that I haven't done in forever is have a picnic. I love picnics.
Yeah.
Because you bring like all your stuff and you put a blanket out, and especially if it's a nice day, not too hot, not too cold. Oh,
Yeah.
and you're on the ground and you're outside and you get to see nature. You know, again, it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because if it's a hot day, like I don't want to have a picnic. If it's too cold, same situation. But if you get, you know, right during like spring or, you know, in fall when then the weather can be really
I like
nice.
to picnic. I live close by a lake, and I like to go out there and have a picnic by the water because underneath the shade, if you're right by the water, it's going to be cooler.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's a really hot day, and
Yeah.
I just really like that.
Yeah, and you're laying around. You know, hopefully you're not going to get too risky, but you know,
No,
what I
there's
mean?
too many people there.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you can still, you know, quote unquote, have fun. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. So, but yeah, road trips are phenomenal. They're great. They're fantastic.
What
I
if
love road
you're
trips.
like, oh, well, I guess they would establish this too in the beginning. But if you say like, hey, let's go take a road trip. Like I have so many hours that I can tolerate. You know what I mean? So if you were like let's say you were driving to Minnesota or something, the woman I guess she would have to tell you like, I don't mind road trips, but can we do like under 3 hours? Like I can't do so long in a vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have to establish that from the
Yeah.
get-go. Like some people might get car sick. That's a
I
thing.
do too.
Do you?
Yeah. But I just don't, if I don't read anything, then I'll be fine. You just
Don't read anything.
yeah.
Why would you read anything
Like if you
on
took
a
out
road
your
trip?
phone.
You take a book?
No, like
Okay, I was about to say, dude.
like Mad Libs, or if you were looking at your phone and you were like,
Yeah.
just something like that. Like,
No, I
look
think-
up a restaurant for us to go eat. If I'm looking at my phone, I'm going to be sick within a few minutes. So I can't
yeah.
do anything where I'm.
But hopefully you're already at a place, or especially if you're on a road trip and you see a sign for, like there's a big
Buc-ee's?
giant, not Buc-ee's. I don't particularly care for that. But sometimes you'll see billboards for like these little mom and pops.
You're like, ooh, warm
yeah,
apple pie. Or
Yeah, and they have like a picture of a pig with
Yeah.
like all kinds of like barbecue sauce on them and stuff.
a cannibal.
Yeah, and you're like, that looks good. At least according to the billboard, that looks tasty.
It's just a cartoon pig. You have no idea.
Yeah,
but you still
really
go
don't.
there.
Or
Yeah.
you might have like a chicken or something like that, whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. But you're like, let's try it out. Why not? But yeah, I love road trips.
But
Road
like, what
trips
if
are the
they, let's say that they agree to it. I guess it's the same thing of them being difficult. But let's say like a few hours in, they start getting very antsy and agitated, and just kind of the rest of the way, it's like,
Yeah, you can take breaks. I personally, when I go on road trips, I like to go, like if there's something that catches my eye, I will stop.
yeah,
Because a road trip for me, don't get me wrong, we need to hit the destination, but part of the fun is
Right.
stopping and doing that. Also is conversation,
Mm-hmm.
because you could play, silly little games and stuff like that, or you can sing along to a song if you have, if you play a song, you don't have a song like a nice 80s song or 90s song that like, let's say TLC comes on and all of a sudden you start singing it because like you both like the song.
I sing all the time, but I've never been in a scenario where me and my partner were singing together.
Really?
That's never
You
happened.
poor baby. How does that not happen?
Guys don't usually like to just sing.
Yes, they do. They probably want to be cool around you, or probably
Maybe
feel like
that's
they're going to
what it
sound
is.
judged and like I have a horrible voice or whatever.
Well,
which I do too.
Yeah,
but
me too. But like, I think I've never been in that scenario in any road trip.
You've never broken out in song.
I sing all the time.
I know, but your partner does it.
no,
and
he
you've never
just
been with a guy
drives and just sits there and listens to me sing poorly.
Wow. Now, I mean, if I know the song and I know the lyrics, I'm going to sing along.
Oh, I
Sorry.
sing. I know every dude. When I turn on the radio, it's like every station. I just click it and I'll start singing. And then click the next song, and it's like I know a lot of.
But it's the best, and you can play I Spy, and you can.
Do the alphabet game. I like
Yes.
the Mad Libs. I wish maybe if I was driving, like we were taking turns, it'd be like, okay, let's do. I always like Mad Libs. I don't know. I just think they're fun.
It's the best. Road trips, love it, love it, love it, love
Yeah.
it. Good conversation.
Yeah.
Vacation.
Thank you for
Yay.
traveling with us.
To go camping.
Yeah.
And hating life, but no, this was good, and
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed this one. So
Yeah.
all right, until next time.
Bye.
Alrighty, bye bye.